Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are based in the world. We're just giving it a minute or so for people to check in. And then we'll get started with the webinar. All right, I think we're here now. Yes, hi everyone. Welcome very much to this webinar where we're going to talk about Mediterranean product and demand with this expert panel we have with us today. Before we go in and talk a little bit about data and about the actual demand for the Mediterranean region, which is going to be presented by our stats expert David Edwards, we'll just do a quick presentation of everyone on this panel. Andrea, would you like to start introducing yourself?
Yes. Hi everybody. My name is Andrea Iolfi, and I'm the owner of Food Valley Travel, which is an incoming tour operator and DMC based in Parma, in Emilia-Romagna region. So I will tell you a little bit later specifically what we do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mark, do you want to continue?
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, everyone. Welcome to you all from me, Mark Meter. I'm the Senior Vice President of Industry Affairs and Education at ASTA, the American Society of Travel Advisors, based in Washington, D.C. I look forward to speaking with you all today.
Thank you very much, Mark. Alexia?
Hello, I'm Alexia Panagiotopoulou from This is Athens, the City of Athens Destination Management and Marketing Agency. And I'm here to participate in this panel, discuss about what we do for product diversification and how we keep up with the trends. Happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Alexia. Last but not least, Kim.
Hi, good morning and good afternoon to everybody. This is Joachim from Brackup Global Tours. We are an incoming wholesale tour operator. We are based in Barcelona, and we run educational travel across Europe. So happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you very much, Kim. Thank you very much. David, and also welcome to you. So please feel free to give a little introduction to yourself, and also if we can start with the data around the Mediterranean region, that would be a great way to start this webinar.
Thank you very much indeed, Sophie. So I am David Edwards, and I work regularly with ETOA, supporting the stats and the Insight Hub development. And for the next few minutes, and it will only be a few minutes, I promise, I'm going to talk a little bit about Mediterranean destination trends. So hopefully you are able to see my screen. So I shall begin. Starting with some good news, this is the forecast for what is likely to happen to international tourism at the level of the world, Europe, and then what is termed Southern and Mediterranean Europe. So what we're looking at here is the trends from 2019, where everything is indexed to 100. We can then see how everything fell precipitously off a cliff. But then as we tracked through 2021, we can see that that yellow line for Southern and Mediterranean Europe picked up rather more than did Europe and the world. And that is a trend which is forecast to continue into 2022, by the end of which tourism economics are reckoning that destinations in the Mediterranean region will be close to where they were in 2019 and potentially exceeding those volumes by 2023. Let's look briefly at how different destinations across the region performed during 2021 compared with 2019. I guess the key takeaway from this chart is that although we see great variation from one nation to another across the Mediterranean region, the factors sitting behind this has much more to do with the levels of restrictions that were in place to visiting those destinations and in the key source markets for those destinations during the past year. And often what we saw was that drive-to destinations within the Mediterranean region actually fared reasonably well, especially during the summer months, whereas what we might term those fly-to destinations, more reliant on people traveling slightly further to reach them, saw visitor numbers still very subdued. Looking now at hotel occupancy across a number of the key Mediterranean countries, what we can see is that occupancy levels were woefully low, even in those markets that did rather better than others. Typically, we would expect in a quote-unquote normal year to see hotel occupancy in the region of 70 to 80% on average across the year. So we can see here that we were peaking at the mid-20s to 30%. But it is certainly worthy of note that many of the destinations, especially on a local level, saw very high occupancy levels during those peak summer months of July and August. So effectively, after the Delta wave had started to ebb away and before Omicron. Now let's look at some very positive findings from research undertaken by the European Travel Commission, who have been polling travellers across key European source markets right from the beginning of the pandemic. And we're up to the 11th wave of that survey now. And what the chart is showing is which destinations those people who are surveyed say is their intended destination for their next European trip. And we can certainly see that we've got the likes of Spain and Italy and France and Greece doing very well, so proving very popular. And this research also digs into not just the destination, but the type of holiday experience that Europeans have been seeking out. And it's very much been about sun and sea and coast and open space. Let's finish off by looking at some fascinating research recently put out by WTTC. And this explored the degree to which the visitor economy and businesses within the visitor economy in countries right around the world. So yes, I've got some Mediterranean countries here, but we can also see the US and the UK are facing an increasing headwind when it comes to recruiting staff. So many within the visitor economy clearly lost their jobs back in spring 2020. And certainly what we're seeing now is that many businesses are finding it quite difficult to recruit the number of staff that they require. And yes, it is possible to automate parts of the experience that visitors have, but we all know that it is that person-to-person interaction that can really drive positive advocacy for a holiday destination, a restaurant, a hotel, an attraction. So this is definitely one of the challenges that we face during 2022, along, of course, with inflationary pressures, which are going to impact potential visitors and their disposable incomes, but also the cost base for industries. But I think we can say that there is positivity out there, that the evidence suggests that the vast majority of people are really keen to travel once they're again able to. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen and we will start to hear from the panel. Thank you very much.
I'm on mute. Here you are. Thank you very much for sharing this, David. This is great. It's great to get a bit of insight on that. I think with the question around labor shortfall, I think that's going to be an interesting part of this conversation. And I know that is something that a few of you have already mentioned in my conversations with you previously before this webinar. But I would like to actually look a little bit about the first, or think about the first slide you showed, where we saw that the Mediterranean is actually a region that's going to be really popular. Again, And Kim, I would like to maybe start talking to you about the demand you see at the moment, and the demand around the new different types of tourism, and maybe that goes a bit hand in hand with that.
Thank you, Sophie. Yes, demand is picking up, and we are, I guess, not just the Mediterranean regions, but everybody we are seeing that we are facing troubles in order to get the product that our clients are requesting, because as David said, it is difficult to find the organizations with full staff. So people are on furlough, they are working from home, people left the sector, so it is being difficult trying to put all together and to offer the destinations where it used to be. So for me, it has to be clear that tourism has a before COVID and after COVID. So we are now in a new era, and that reflects in our relationships between the partners. No. I like to point out that there are some partners that they believe that nothing changed, so that they can provide the service as they used to do before COVID. And I think that this is totally wrong. I think that we are in the middle of a profound structural changes that affects the commercial chain between the end user and the partner. New technologies are here. The climate change as well is here. So everybody now is surrounded by the world of sustainability. So we really need to reinvent ourselves and to provide a product, right, that give what the people is demanding. So slow tourism is as well as a new word that is coming. So people wants to go to the countryside, wants to visit the sites that there are less crowds. So to do so, we need to let them know, right, which is in real time, which is the itinerary that they can do, right, but advising them which sites are now less crowd. So being flexible, being able to adapt the itinerary and to provide them with a real experience. So, and here is where it comes difficult. They are demanding local experience. I'm sure that Alexia or Andrea will agree with me on that. So they are demanding real experience. So meet with the local people, but at the same time, there is the tourismophobia in certain places that confront with that. So we, I mean the professional, we have to find the way to providing those service. And this is the word I want to put in the webinar, to regenerate the community. So instead of talking about sustainable travel, I would like to talk about, well, feel more comfortable talking about responsible travel. So we all, the end client, but us as well, we need to be responsible of the impact that we have to the community that we are visiting. But then let's see if we could offer activities that could give an added value to the community. So we could, by visiting them, we could regenerate the area. So this is something that it's quite new. I mean, there are few partners that they are working on providing activities that regenerates the areas that we are visiting. But I think this is the challenge that we are all in, and it's an exciting challenge. So it's not just selling by the fact of selling the destination, but what can we do, each one of us, to provide a positive impact on the destination.
Thank you very much, Kim. That's very good insights and a good start to the conversation as well. And I think, Alexia, that might be something just down your street in Athens. What do you do to get the tourists, when they're coming back, because they will come back this year, to explore more of Athens? And I know that Kim said people are going to the countryside, but I know that they are still going to Athens, but maybe a bit more in the outskirts of the city and in different parts as well.
Yes, well, exactly. We've seen as well that people want to come to Athens, and it's been a great demand. Contrary to the June, July, and August period, I would say that Athens compensated mostly around the fall months. Based on what Edward said, we saw that September, October were actually the fullest months in terms of visitors for Athens, and November was looking good until the Omicron variant hit us. But what we're trying to do and what we see is people actually extend their stay. So this means that we bring new products all the time to showcase that Athens is just not just the city center and the cultural heritage monuments, but it's so much more. We have a countryside as well, which is really close to the city center, and it has vineyards and nice trekking activities to do, and monasteries and lots of activities actually to come in contact with nature. And there's beaches, yachting activities.
I was experiencing a little bit of, I think Alexia has frozen a bit on the screen. I think that's what you, the rest of you.
And Laka, did you miss me? Did I might have some connection issues?
There was a little bit of, I think we missed about 10-15 seconds about it. So you talked a bit about there was the vineyards and the countryside, and then we lost you.
Oh, no, I just switched off my camera just in case I'm losing connection. Basically, I was. Did you hear the part about how vineyard activities, wine tasting activities around the city? So, what we're doing in our efforts now is that we try to create activities and experiences throughout the 129 neighborhoods of Athens. We want to bring in contact the citizens with the visitors and improve the resident sentiment over tourism. So we want them to get together, and we want tourists now to be part of actually the local economy of the city, not just the tourism economy. So we make special experiences that go around into off the beaten track, that go and get in contact and go to the local craftsmen. They go in and see how actually, like we had recently also ourselves discovered that there are actually marble sculpting experiences in Athens, when you can go and see how they made like ancient statues. So we have lots of experience, and we're expanding, continuing expanding our product so that we also avoid over tourism effects that we see once the COVID era leaves us behind. So we are trying and working at that direction so that we can serve the demand that we see that's also rising in terms of new products and more sustainable products. But what I would like to mention here is that it's not just about creating the product, it's also creating the infrastructure that's going to be able to accommodate the product. So revamping all the green spaces, giving more green spaces to the people, more outdoor activities. For the citizen, not just for visitors. And this is how we tackle the issue that, why do you bring more visitors, and do we do everything for our tourists? No, we do for citizens and tourists, because if citizens don't feel that Athens is a lovely place to live, then visitors will never feel that it's actually a great place to visit. So we try to make that work hand by hand, like in parallel. And this way we see that the satisfaction rate for visitors is also rising this way.
Thank you very much, Alexia. That was that was very interesting, and I can see a few of the panelists nodding as well. That is definitely the way that it's good to see destinations going. It's very interesting. Before I ask Andrea to just say a little bit about the region where he is in, Emilia-Romagna in Italy, because this goes very much hand in hand with what you're doing and what Kim is doing as well. Then Mark, listening to this and thinking about your travel advisors in your organization and your clients as well, how does that sound for you? Is this something, this direction of travel, is this something you can recognize?
Yeah, I think, thank you, Sophie. I think indeed we know that the US consumers' desire to travel internationally is quite high. And I think without doubt the Mediterranean region within Europe is a high priority for many. I would also say that we know that given the resurgence of leisure travel, luxury travel in particular is important to Americans. And a lot of our members are finding that people are more willing now to spend if you will, trips of a lifetime and maybe spend more money. The issue is, though, the complexity of travel now and a lot of the concerns that travelers have in terms of what it means to travel, especially international, given the state of the world. So I can tell you that from a consumer study that we've done in the course of the last year, when it comes to considering international travel in general, there are many deterrents that are preventing people from doing it now, whether in any part of the world, including Southern Europe. So firstly, the fear of being stuck in a foreign location should COVID restrictions be further enhanced or implemented is one of the top concerns that consumers and travelers are expressing. There's always, and this is historical, there's always the concern with cost, of course, but in addition to that, there's also a fear of the need to quarantine either upon arrival in the destination or the need to quarantine when they get back home. So that, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword in that from that perspective. And as I said a moment ago, the complexity of navigating or understanding various regulations and travel advisories country to country and the uniqueness between the many is a deterrent. It's confusing, it's complex. If anything, it makes the value of a travel advisor all the more intense and important because they help weed through those complexities. Having said that, it's a major challenge for people to indeed weed through that. And then lastly, the requirements to show a negative COVID test prior to travel is a great concern. As you know, in the US at the moment, to return home to the US, travelers have to be tested within 24 hours or less before return. That is a major concern for travelers. It's a real deterrent and a difficulty that we here at ASTA are fighting hard, pushing the government, the White House, the administration to get rid of that rule and we prefer that they rely solely on vaccines. So be vaccinated, fully vaccinated, with at least the 2 shots. And that alone should be all that's required for travelers to return home. So as you can see from what I'm describing, it's a complicated factor. There's a huge pent-up demand. Southern Europe and the Mediterranean are key destinations for travelers where they want to go. And the floodgates will open. It's just a matter of how quickly, and I think slowly but surely you'll see that happen. If I can just say one more interesting statistic I could share with you if the listeners might find of interest. In 2019, the total value of airline tickets issued by US travel agencies, the total value of airline tickets was $97.4 billion. That's billion with a B. That's a lot of air tickets. Now that's a combination of domestic and international travel. That dropped significantly, obviously, in 2020 when that number dropped to 23 billion. So from 97.4 to 23 billion in 2020, the year itself. The good news is there was a 69%, almost 70% increase in ticket volumes in 2021 when the number jumped to almost 40 billion dollars of value in terms of air tickets issued by travel agencies in the US. So, you know, we're in month 2, almost month 3 of 2022, and ideally volumes will pick up, but the impact of the Omicron variant in particular has had a negative impact on travel, although we're already feeling some relief from that, where I think the consumer and his or her focus on the concern for Omicron is lightening up in a good way, and infections have dropped, et cetera, which is all a good thing. So I hope that's of help just in terms of some perspective in terms of how consumers and travel advisors are managing the situation here from the US at this point.
Thank you very much, Mark. And I think what you said about how the importance of the travel advisor, of of the company to travel through. I think that's something that we're really going to see here in 2022, that the amount of people traveling individually, buying their own travel ticket, their own flight ticket, their own hotel, that is probably going to be less because people need that reassurance.
Yeah, that's right. We've really seen that in our studies, both with a combination of research done with the travel agency community, but also with consumers who say, I'm too fearful of trying to do this on my own. Without a travel advisor, I'm on my own, and that's too risky. So, yeah.
To help even more the travel advisors and the consumers on your side, what can the suppliers, the local tour operator, the European tour operators, the local suppliers, what can they do to help? How can we make information more possible to how can we share the information better? What can we do on the supply side in Europe?
Yeah, I think it's complicated in that a lot of the information that's needed really comes from the local governments. So the individual states within the European Union, of course, and then the collective European Union. But I think where the tour operators themselves can be of help is to not only point travel advisors to where they can get that information. I don't know that they need to be, certainly not responsible for keeping up with it, but they need to be able to point advisors to the source. Where can advisors learn about the restrictions, if any, that may apply to a particular location, a particular country, or region? That is very helpful. And then, of course, selling the beauty of the particular destination, but also giving factual detail information on, for example, say Athens, Alexia, if the majority of restaurants are open, as an example, or tours are happening without constraint, or in general, things like masking is required or not, is very, very helpful. What we find is that it becomes difficult, for example, when you say, for example, you're looking to book a hotel, and what you may find, what a travel advisor, even a consumer, may find online about a hotel when they look, it may be different when they actually arrive at the property. So the same could apply to a tour, and it therefore is important that what you advertise and promote is going to be factual and relevant when the traveler arrives. So for a simple example would be if a hotel website says, we have a beautiful pool and 5 wonderful restaurants. The traveler arrives and finds that 4 of those restaurants are closed and the pool is closed. That's a big, it's more than a disappointment. It is almost, the traveler will not feel good about what they encounter when they arrive. So when you think about for example, any constraints that a tour may apply, it's important that detail, whatever your requirements may be, are very, very clear to the advisor, so that the advisor can clearly inform the traveler to know what to expect, so that they have a good experience and then want to come back.
That's very clear from your side, Mark. That's good information to have, and I think that's also what many suppliers and local operators are trying to. It's obviously a difficult market right now because things are changing on a daily basis, but it's good to have that clear. That's where we need to get to. On that point, I actually do want to just mention quickly our website, where we have information about travel restrictions and travel requirements for each country. It is updated more or less daily by our wonderful Simon Smith, who's our policy manager, who looks into details of each country constantly. So we have some of that information. So please, everyone, feel free to go in and have a look on that website. It's under our coronavirus hub. So have a look there. That can hopefully help, at least with the travel restrictions and requirements. Alexia.
Yes, if I may add, this was one of the first things that we did when with COVID, that we've created a dedicated COVID updates webpage on our visitors portal, where you get up to date, all the new protocols. I'm going to put it in the chat for everyone, but because we understand what Mark's saying, and we wanted to make sure that all visitors are able to get at least the information as it stands on that day, because for everyone, even for us, it has been very confusing. Like, are we allowed to go out? Do we have to wear masks? Do we not? So if it's confusing for us, I mean, imagine for visitors. So we tried to tackle this, but we believe that there should be a unified protocol for Europe. I mean, we should do that. We should all have the same regulation, like for any one traveling from overseas, to know that it's the same regulation for every country, like Italy, Spain, France, Greece. It should not be differentiated, because this is going to make it easier for people to travel.
Alexia, if I could just add to that, I completely agree with you. I would say, though, that one of the concerns in addition is that, just as you're describing, the regulations or the rules may be, this way today on February 17, but tomorrow, February 18, they may be very different. And on the 18th, they could be different again. And when you add to that the complexity added by each individual country, with the ability to change up and down, good or bad, daily, not hourly, the complexity again is all the more. So anything that can bring more normalcy to it across the board is a very good thing.
Thank you very much, both of you. Kim, you also had your hand up. So after you, we will go to Andrea, because I know he's got some interesting thoughts.
No, I just wanted to reinforce what just Alexa said, but Mark just said. So it's very difficult from the tour operator point of view when we are putting together itinerary in a 3-month time or a 6-month time to let the clients know, or to assuring that which are going to be the restrictions in the country is almost impossible. Furthermore, not only each country, but also within the country, each region, they have several different restrictions, which it makes complicated. Having said this, I do believe that pandemic is over. I mean, it's over, which means that we will know that the pandemic is going to be there, and we are going to travel with the pandemic. So it's going to be just another. What's the word in English? Gripe. Well,
Endemic. One more flu.
Yeah, flu. Exactly. That's the word, right? So we will know, and we will just live with it, right? What also talking about the standard criteria as well, and this is something I want to mention because of the sustainable travel, is the amount of certifications that each country has about sustainable certification. So when you want to go to a hotel, or when you want to use a local guide or a tour operator like us, right? Do the end consumer really knows what's behind that certification? Is the same certification valid in Athens that in Barcelona, or in Barcelona that in San Francisco? And this is something that we all have to work and to use the same certifications. Otherwise, every country, or every company, so I can just make up my own certification and say that it's a sustainable, right? So this is something as well I think that we should all have to work on.
Thank you, Kim. I think that's good points as well. Just going a little bit back to some of the things we talked about in the beginning about which products do we have, slow tourism, diversification of products. I think Andrea, you maybe you want to give us a little insight into the region you're based in, and kind of, because this is exactly what you do, right? Slow tourism. Yeah. Getting to know the destination that is not just the usual Italian destination that we all know. So maybe you want to give us a little overview.
In fact, yes. Well, let me share my screen so I can show you first of all where we are. So Emilia-Romagna, as you were saying, is not the most popular region in Italy yet, but we're trying to get better every year. And as you can see, it's very centrally located in northern Italy. So usually people that makes the classic triangle between Milan, Venice, and Florence just pass through us. Then luckily, more and more are also stopping by. Why come to Emilia-Romagna? In the map, you clearly see the main reason. So we are considered the Italian food valley. And why? Because all the products that you see here are certificated by the European Union, and we are not only in Italy, but also in all Europe, we are the region with the highest number of typical products, where the most popular are like Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, Parma ham, balsamic vinegar, and many more. So what we do is, and what we always did, even before pandemic, was to let the people discover these products that are sold all over the world. So especially in US, more and more they have this knowledge about the quality of food, and they want to learn more, and they're curious about them. So the main reason and the first reason is for that. So most of our clients are foodies, and once they arrive, they discover that there is much more. So the funny thing is that if you think about most of the Italian brands known all over the world, talking about cars, fashion, music, and food, are actually coming from here. The thing is that people don't still associate them with the region. I was mentioning the cars, for example. If you think about the area between Modena and Bologna, mainly, all the famous cars are coming from there. Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, Pagani, even Ducati with the motorbikes. So it's an area that has also a touristic name, well, a promotional name. It's called Motor Valley. So it's a region with a mix of food, of cars, and then, of course, when people arrive, they discover that there is much more, like art. All the cities that you can see along this ancient road that was made by the Romans more than 2,000 years ago are really nice, and with pedestrian city centers full of art. So people, especially Americans or from Australia, from really all over the world, they really feel to be in the real Italy. So not in a touristic place, very safe. And what we are looking now in this first part of the year, that luckily we are receiving more and more requests. People is looking to stay a little longer. Before, maybe they were asking just for an half day or a full day excursion based on food and wine. Now they're asking more for short breaks, weekends, so a longer stay to discover more and feel more like a local. And this more time allows us to let them discover also more hidden places, like, for example, the Apennines, the Apennine Mountains, that are pretty unknown, even for the Italians. And this is what they're looking for. So many people more and more decide to maybe take a house, a villa, up in the mountains, and stay there for even a week or more. And then, since we are so centrally located, discover daily the surroundings. So once they're here, they can go to Cinque Terre, they can go to the Lake District, they can go to Milan, or down to Florence as well. So actually, this time that we were all stopped caused of the COVID, this time gave us the opportunity to develop more and more outdoor activities and with a stronger contact with the locals. So people seems to appreciate these new products, and even to the tour operators that are selling usually the most popular destination in Italy, more and more they're asking for different things in different parts of Italy, well, it seems that it's going better every day, because luckily, as I was saying, since last week, the requests are growing every day. So I think it's well, I wait for that, for all of you here in Emilia-Romagna then.
Thank you very much, Andrea. That's it's definitely an interesting area, and I think one thing that comes to mind, and that's also it's from the conversations I've had with Kim, and it's something that I know that Alexia is also working on in Athens, is you work with very small suppliers on your side, and Kim, I know you do that as well, and Alexia as well in Athens. So just ask the panel, how do you get these small suppliers ready for the travel trade? I know obviously, Andrea, you are there as a middleman, the same are you, Kim, but how do you work with them to make sure that it actually works in practice? Because getting either a big coach or a minibus or anything into those different areas, that's where the challenges come, isn't it? Where how do you get them to how do you work with them? So yeah, how do you train them in that sense?
Well, from us, for Bracket Global Tours, it's being a challenge, because as I said in my previous talk, we all need it for business. So we need to find the balance of one, filling the fridge, right? So we need to sell, but on the other side, we understand that we need to sell different. So we are, as I said before, in a new era. So we need to provide those local tours to the clients, but then as well, we need to see that who is really local, is prepared, is ready to take. In my case, we are specialized in group bookings, right? So are they ready to take groups? Not only that, as the travel agencies, are we ready to take on board the new technologies, right? I'm just going to put a sample that I just have this morning, that we are working with an application that we provide to our consumers, to our clients, all the vouchers online in an application, right? So I type the itinerary, I put the travel insurance, I put the hotel voucher, everything on my platform, and then my client, the end consumer, can see it on their mobile, right? So the application. If there is any comment, if there is anything, any change in the itinerary, right, it's not in a PDF document, it's live, so I can just change it on the platform, and then the client receive it on the mobile, right? So which is great. Well, I received an email today that the client asked me, okay, this is great, but can I have the vouchers in paper? Because I feel more safe if I have the hotel voucher in paper. I said, yes, but you have it in your mobile, right? Yes, but if you can send it to me so I can print them. So we are still in that process, right? So new technologies are there. We can take advantage of them. We can really use them, but at the same time, we do need to educate, right? Educate the clients and educate. Well, I'm being a bit, but just said yes, to re-educate our partners, no? The way that we should provide the service.
Thank you very much. Alexia, Andrea, any thoughts on that?
I wanted to add on that in order, as I said previously, it's not just about visitors and how they will be able to make use of the technology. It's about how we give the tools to the local businesses to create the tool, to learn the technology. For example, the City of Athens has given lots of incentives for the digitalization of services of tourism businesses and for the small local businesses, actually, in order for them to be able to keep up with the demand that's going to, that was created. So it works both ways, and the city has to give the incentives, like you provide your client with an application they will get the information, but we as destinations, we are responsible to give the incentives and to train local businesses to adapt to the new era.
I can also add something, talking about the small suppliers. Consider that still in many parts of the region, but also in other parts of Italy, they are not thinking at all about tourism. I'm talking about the local communities. So what we did, and the importance to have a partner like us or like the other panelists on site, is that we are here. So we go directly to talk with them, even if they are up in the mountains, and we explain our project to them. So imagine to talk to an old guy that works with cows or sheep up in the mountains, and he doesn't have any idea of what tourism is. And in the years, we have developed a network of these amazing suppliers, and we keep changing it and growing it. But the only way is to be here constantly. So that's why, even if we can offer all the rest of Italy, we never do that without having something like us on site. So this is to give also an additional service to the final clients or to the travel advisor all around the world. So this is very important for us.
And that adds as well, Andrea and Kim and Alexia, to what Mark said earlier about giving that reassurance that someone like you are there, you know exactly what's happening on a daily basis. I think that's very interesting. Mark, looking at listening to this conversation and thinking about the American clientele and how they work through travel advisors, do you see this need to kind of combine the bigger destination and the smaller regional destinations to create products that are interesting and meet those local small tourism products and suppliers?
Yeah, I do think that the consumer is more interested in the offering within particular destinations, including the smaller destinations that may give that unique once in a lifetime experience. They're going to be likely less focused on the particular provider of that service, whether say it's a remote farm in the mountains that has wonderful cheeses and that sort of thing for people to taste, but they're going to be more focused on the need for really what we were talking to a moment ago, and that is information, the latest and greatest detail they need to know before they arrive. So I think the challenge is, if you are working with very small suppliers that are not familiar with either the technology or what a traveler really may need to know, it kind of behooves the tour operator to ensure that they distill that, understand that, and then can communicate that to the travel agency as well as the traveler, while they're traveling. So, there is an interest for, sort of, if you know what a bucket list is, a trip of a lifetime, more so now than ever. And I think you'll see people willing to spend more dollars from the US and more time spent in those items, and they can include the smaller destinations. The key will be, again, the reassurance that the latest information that they need to know is available, and then in the end, no surprises. So if I book a tour to a farm in a remote region of Italy, I don't want to arrive only to find that it's closed, or I can't any longer get there. The information that's needed along the way by the consumer is vital, and of course the travel advisor is key to be the source of that information from you, the tour operator, to provide that to the traveler.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And I think that this really, again, this really shows how important it is to have the local operators on the ground to know what's going on, and to have destinations as well, knowing what's happening with the local suppliers.
And Sophie, one more thing, if I could add, that just kind of relates back to what we were talking about earlier, and that is, I know that it's really difficult potentially to keep up-to-date information live or literally in your materials. But what I would do, it would be to say, you know, here's the best the situation as we know it today in your publication, but for the latest detail on any requirements or restrictions or constraints or openness, click on this link for the latest and greatest. So I would add that to my both my website and any documents, online documents that you provide, any vouchers. This is how it is today, but click here, or perhaps provide a QR code to take the traveler to the latest and greatest should the situation change, you know, day by day. That is, I think, really key, and helps protect you and keeps the traveler informed.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mark. I think that's very clear. Kim.
Yeah, sorry. I just read the question that Tim put in the and this is one of the challenges that we as Barca Global Tours we are facing, because we are now measuring our carbon footprint in all our itineraries, and we are working in providing compensatory activities, right, to mitigate this impact. So when we talk with tourist offices, or when we talk with local partners and we ask them, okay, what could we offer to the client to compensate the impact, right? Most of them, they don't really know what we are talking about. So, and this is something that I'm pretty sure that it will be compulsory in the next, I would say, maybe 5 years, right? So we won't be able to offer a tour if within this tour there isn't any compensatory activity, and that either could be, yes, but paying money, right? So you donate, I don't know, 20 euros, 30 euros to compensate your carbon footprint. But also we have an opportunity, and this is what Tim question said in his question, is about as tour operators, which activities we could offer to the client for them to decide, okay, I will go for activity 1, or activity 2, or activity 3, just to give a positive impact to the community that I'm attending, no? And this is as well is business that it will give to a secondary destination, secondary attraction. So it's not just, for instance, if I'm talking about Barcelona and I have a client that is willing to visit Barcelona, I cannot send him to a lost farmhouse in the middle of the Pyrenees. Of course I can, but I mean, if they want to be in Barcelona, I need to be able to provide them with full of activities that they can do, right, to help the community. And this is what Alexia was talking about between citizens and tourists, right? So citizens have to be happy, have to welcome these tourists, because that means that they will bring a positive impact to the city. And this is down to us, to the local offices and to tour operators like me and Andrea.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any other comments? We're just 5 minutes before the end of the webinar. We try to finish within the hour, but it would be good to see if there's anyone who have any final comments about the discussion today. Anything we haven't touched that would be good to get in.
I would just like to add something on what David presented earlier, and in terms of how difficult it was during this period to find the manpower actually to address the demand. we've seen the same issue in the city as well. We don't know to what extent it has to do with the incentives that all these people were given from the state in order, to financial incentives, or if it's actually, we believe that we lack the educational and the technology aspect of it now. I mean, I think that the personnel that needs to work in the tourism industry needs to upscale as well, and they need to be informed about sustainable practices, and they need to be open-minded now and more tech savvy and to know about sustainability. We invest a lot in the education of the personnel of the tourism industry, of the local tourism industry, in order to be able to respond to that demand. So this was an issue that we saw in the local industry that existed.
Thank you very much. I think any other comments on the human resource factor and how do we get more personnel on the ground? I don't know if anyone has any other comments on that.
If it's of any comfort, it's an issue in the United States as well. So.
That's good.
Not good, but it's
no.
It's a reality. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And Sophie, I'm just seeing Tim's comment about the if suppliers provide a verified footprint and proof that aligns with client values. In the end, is there an appetite potentially to spend a little or a lot more money? I think the answer to that is yes. I think the consumer, the traveler at this point, because of the pent-up demand, is more likely to spend more when that pent-up demand can be released. So that's not to say necessarily that one should raise their prices arbitrarily, but I think for the quality and for the value. And I think also, even in the United States, the focus on sustainable tourism and sustainable travel is becoming more and more important. And I think there may be a willingness to spend to ensure that not only that is captured, but that the quality of what is provided by the tour operator is better as well.
Definitely, and it's not a trade-off. It's both sustainable travel and just same quality as previously.
Yeah, and people will spend money for that.
And I think that's also comes in with the educational aspect that Alexia is saying, that the travel advisors also need to be made aware, and the end consumers need to be made aware about how sustainable travel can impact the destinations that we go to. So before I just want to quickly mention I think you might have seen it in the beginning when we just started. We have an event on in about 7 weeks time, which is about the Mediterranean products. Please feel free to join this. This is what we are talking about here. This is product development in the region. Come and join us, either if you're a buyer or supplier, and we can discuss much more in the meetings here. And obviously also want to this is online, this event, but come and join us. It will be great. We will really focus on also the smaller products, the smaller suppliers, to get everyone involved. Alexia, maybe you also quickly want to mention that something is happening in May in Athens. This is going to be live in person.
Yes, we are actually very excited to announce that we're going to have the 8th Travel Trade Athens, a signature event of the city, on the 9th and 10th of May, where we invite hosted buyers, tour operators, travel agents from abroad to come to Athens for a 2-day, 3-day program and meet local suppliers, and also have the opportunity to attend some nice experiences that we organize. We're going to send out an invitation to everyone. This is the 8th year we're organizing it with ETOA, and we're very excited, and it will give you the opportunity to get insights and all the newest developments of our city. Thank you very much, Sophie, for letting me say that.
Yes, of course. And I think there are two events there that are really complementary to each other. The online event, where you can really the local suppliers can meet a lot of buyers from around the world, and also obviously we cover the entire Mediterranean. but then this event, which is in person and where you really can see the product in Athens and see what Athens has done to get everyone ready for the travel trade again. With that, I would like to say thank you very much to everyone, and especially to you, panelists, for joining this webinar. It's been a very interesting conversation. I really think we have touched on some interesting topics. Let's hope that 2022 is going to be as good as we hope. I really hope so. But I do think we're getting on the right side of the pandemic now. So let's hope for the best. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.